We turn now to Robert and work with his toughest intrusive memories. Please note that he has been through conventional therapy for almost 30 years and still describes his PTSD as severe.
And that's why you have less emotional reaction, even though it is by no means done. You still describe it as severe. Okay?
Right, because I have certain memories that are very severe that I just, when I start thinking about them or when something comes up where I'm remembering them, I do anything I can to forget them.
Of course. What we're going to do here is deal with that energy system directly. Not with the memory. We use the memory kind of like a guide. But we're going to deal with the energy system. And the way we do that, and why this appears so strange to people, is we have you tap on certain points of your body, under your eye over here and here, and under your arm and here. And we have you do a bunch of things which are seemingly strange and appear to be nothing like psychology, nothing whatsoever like it. And yet it really is, because what you will find if we're successful here is you'll find as we tap on this, you're going to find some of the emotional reactions you have subside. And get less and less and less. To the point where we've had many people sitting in your chair here in the last couple of days who have gotten over headaches, they've gotten over a lot of anxious feelings, they've taken a lot of their intrusive memories, and they've been able to talk right through from beginning to end with no intensity whatsoever, whereas before on a scale of 0 to 10 it went to a 10, bang, like that, just like I think you quickly, okay?
Insomnia, where they have slept.
Yeah, we've had people, we just, Phil right here had insomnia, and we just had him give a testimonial, and he's been sleeping fine, and so on. So anyway, I can't give you promises, but I will tell you this does not hurt. And so we'll give it the experience. We'll have you doing things which seem strange. I'll have you tapping here, for example, and among other things, rolling your eyes around in your head and humming like a song, a happy birthday. That's to get your right brain involved. That's the creative part. And then counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's to get your left brain involved. And we'll have you rubbing a sore spot, and we'll have you saying some affirmations like, I accept myself even though I have this thought, or even though I have this feeling or something. So you just have to kind of flow with us, okay?
Next we have Robert pick out his most intense memory. He labels it the kid, and we start balancing the energy system by using affirmations and tapping on certain body locations. It comes down from a 9.5 to a 5 to a 2.5 to a 0. To this point, we have just addressed this memory in a general way. He is now ready to tell the story.
Do you feel comfortable now in discussing it and telling us?
Yeah, because I can kind of separate myself from it now.
Okay. Here's the way we do it, though, okay? Remember, we're not into having big pain.
Right.
Okay. What I'd like to have you do is, in this 1 or 2 minute movie, which has the intense part with the kid in it, I'd like to have you maybe start a little bit before that, where it's comfortable to talk about it, and then start getting into it. And as you get into it, closer and closer to things that might make you intense, if you get intense, you let me know immediately. Say, I'm getting intense now.
Okay.
We want to stop right there and deal with this, okay? So, go ahead, start.
And let me just interject that you don't have to get up to a high number. When you start feeling any emotion about it, let us know.
Okay.
Yeah. Even a 3 or a 4. Even a 3 or a 4, we want to know about it, okay? So, go ahead.
I can remember coming into a village and a buddy of mine, the guy that was driving the truck, wanted to stop for some reason. I kind of have a suspicion what he wanted to stop for, but we were stopped outside a bar, and he was inside, and I had a kid kept coming up the truck, and I kept telling him to get away, and he kept coming, and I wasn't paying too much attention to him. I figured he was just curious. And then I started looking at him, and I noticed he had a grenade in his hand with a pin pulled.
How do you feel when you say that?
A little anxious, not bad.
Okay. Give me a number.
2, maybe 2.5.
Yeah, we're going to stop, okay? And you can resume the story in a minute, but we're just, okay. I accept myself. Do it yourself. I accept myself even though I still have some of this kid emotion.
I accept myself even though I still have some of this kid emotion. I accept myself even...
Okay, collarbone. Okay. Now, go back to that point where you've seen the boy with the grenade with the pin pulled, and tell me if it's still a 2 or 3 or whatever it was.
I can see him, and I'm almost like I'm just watching a movie.
Okay, all right, good. That's what we want. All right, continue on with the story, but be sure you tell me about intensity as you go on, okay?
He came up, he kept coming, and I kept telling him, don't come any closer, drop the grenade, and he kept coming at me, and he was, I remember it now, he was kind of in a, almost like the kid was in a trance. And so I took a rifle and I fired 2 rounds down his feet. The kid still kept coming. And
how do you feel when you say that?
Anxious.
Okay, give me a number.
3 maybe.
3, okay. Rub it yourself. I accept myself even though I still have some of this kid emotion.
I accept myself even though I still have some of this kid emotion.
Okay, tune back into that now. You fired 2 rounds at his feet and he still keeps coming.
Just like I'm watching a movie.
Okay, continue on.
And he kept coming, and I kept trying to. Finally, I didn't have any choice. I had to shoot him.
How's that feel?
Anxious, because I don't like. It's something I didn't want to do.
Now, 0 to 10, where are you?
Probably an 8.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay. I accept myself even though I have this kid emotion.
I accept myself even though I still have this kid emotion.
I accept myself even though I shot the kid.
I accept myself even though I shot the kid.
2 more times.
I accept.
Where are you now?
Probably down to about a 0.
You think you're a 0?
About maybe a half a 0.
Okay.
I can see the kid. I can see him laying there dead.
Have you ever been able to see the kid laying there dead and having the emotional response you have now?
No.
A 0. Has it always been a 10 or something?
It's always been at least a 10.
Okay.
Even though Robert has never been able to tell this story calmly before, we still want to test it. So he is asked to tell it again to see if any emotional intensity comes up.
The story you're telling is the 2-minute movie. The most intense part is shooting the boy?
Yeah, the most important intense
so
part.
we got the intense part. Yeah. I'd like to have you go back and get into it again, okay? Because see what else comes out. Do you feel comfortable doing that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
We had pulled into the village. A buddy of mine says, "Hey, I've got to do something. I'll be right back." And I said something about we should be moving on. We're not supposed to be in the village. The village is restricted. Well, don't worry about it. So we kept on. So he went in and I waited in the vehicle. And I remember the kid kind of looking interested at the truck, and I didn't pay too much attention. I figured, hey, he's just a young kid. He's curious.
How old was he?
5, 6 maybe, if that old. It's hard to tell.
Right.
And then I noticed the kid disappeared for a minute or 2, and I didn't pay much attention. I figured, well, he got bored, or he just didn't want to look anymore. Next thing I know, he's coming from the other side of the building, and he's got something in his hand, kind of behind him. And I can't see what he's got in his hand. He's still quite a ways away, and his hand is kind of behind his back. So finally he gets up probably 60, 70 feet away, maybe, if that far. And I can kind of halfway see what he's got. He's got his hand, something clenched in his hand. I still can't quite see it, but I can see his hand is clenching something about the size of a grenade. And I figure, okay, he's probably got a rock. He's probably going to throw a rock. No problem. I figure, what's he going to do with a rock? Then all of a sudden, his hand comes up behind me. It's probably, maybe 40 feet away from us, if that far. And he's got a grenade in it. I don't know how the kid had the strength to hold the grenade in the spoon, but he did. So all of a sudden I'm talking to him, telling him to leave. And then I hear the spoon spring. And
you hear the what?
I hear this ping. He let go of that grenade and the spoon had flung off of it, so it was fully armed. All he had to do was put it at us, and the truck was gone, and I was gone with it. So
how do you feel when you say that?
I really don't feel any emotion because and so I fired 4 rounds, I guess, down by his feet, kind of giving him a notice, hey, don't come any closer. I've got a weapon, I will shoot you. So he just keeps right on coming. It's like, hey, I'm in a trance, I don't care. So then I fired another round, and I hit him in the shoulder. But okay, I'm going to get him to drop the weapon. Get him to drop the grenade. Hit him in the shoulder. He's going to drop the grenade and grab his arm. He didn't do it. He just kept right on coming like a zombie. So I said, well, I've got to get rid of him now, or he's going to be so close to the truck. He's going to take me.
How do you feel right now?
I really don't feel any emotion at all.
Go ahead.
So I just I finally raised it up to where it's about even with his head, and I fired 3 rounds, I guess. And all of a sudden he dropped down. The grenade kind of dropped behind him, and it wasn't maybe 3, 4 seconds.
Firing the 3 rounds, you hit him in the head?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel when you say that?
It's almost like I'm watching a movie.
Is it a 0, 1, 2, 5?
Probably a 0, maybe a half.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
And it's like the back of his head. I see the back of his head splatter. And it's like, okay. And then I see the grenade kind of drop out of his hand and roll back behind him. And I hear it explode. Maybe 5-10 seconds later, all of a sudden here come all these village people tearing out of there. What'd you do to my kid? How come you shot my kid? Never mind the kid had a grenade and he almost killed a couple of people in the little building.
The grenade did or did not go off?
The grenade did go off. It had rolled back behind him probably 20, 30 feet and went off kind of behind a well.
How did you feel when the people came out and were yelling at you?
I was anxious because I didn't know whether I was going to have to shoot.
How do you feel now?
Now I'm really, they're doing what they thought. They didn't understand what was going on.
Are you feeling the anxiousness now?
Not really, no.
Having finished with his most intense memory, we then helped Robert neutralize his second most intense memory. This one had to do with the wiping out of a village. We used the same technique and got the same result, that is, 0 emotional intensity. We tune in now at the end of this second intense memory as Robert inadvertently pays these techniques the ultimate compliment. He yawns and says he is bored. In normal social situations, this may be considered rude, but we are delighted. Remember, he is dealing with traumatic memories that have haunted him for decades and caused him nightmares.
I don't feel anxious at all.
Good. All right, great. Go ahead.
And I can remember, the dozer digging a big hole. I can remember him digging a big hole and just shoving people in it.
Why did you yawn?
Boredom, maybe, because I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking how many times I've seen it in the movies, how many times I've seen it depicted in TV.
It was an interesting reaction, and the reason I asked you that was quite often people, when they do this, they get so relaxed as a result of tapping the energy system.
Yeah, well,
they literally start to lose, they think they're losing energy, but what they're doing is they're being very relaxed in a way that they've never been before, if they can remember. Does that fit for you?
Yeah, because I've never, really felt like, okay, hey, it happened. It's just like I'm watching a movie.
I want you to do something for me, okay? I want you to go back to the first scene, and I want you to imagine shooting the boy, and tell me what kind of emotional intensity you have about that.
Boredom.
Boredom.
Yeah.
Okay. That's better than the other one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. You have to get going.
Yeah.
One final visit with Robert. He came in for another session the next morning and reported that he had had his best night's sleep in 5 years. I then tested the kid emotion one more time to see if the passage of 24 hours had brought anything back. Please notice that he has no trace of it left.
That, it doesn't bother me at all. It
doesn't bother you at all?
No.
Even the part where you shot the boy in the head?
No, because I look at that like, hey, I had to do it. It was me or him. Now I'm looking at it like, okay, it's him or I. There's no two ways. There's no two ways about it.
Now, what's really interesting for any other vets or anybody else watching this is we did this procedure yesterday, and the parts of it that we directly addressed with the tapping, you don't have any emotional intensity over.
Not really, because I'm looking at it from I'm looking at it from a rational point of view.